Jim Ryan, and I'm going to spend the next 10 minutes explaining to you the value of this course, which is titled Business Information Semantics and Rules. Business Information Semantics is a part of an overall topic called business architecture, and the Brainstorm course curriculum has a series of courses in the business architecture curriculum track, of which this course is one of several that you need to take in order to get the business architecture certification. A little bit about business architecture. In general, what business architecture is the application of architectural modeling and analysis practices to business problems. Historically, business problems have been dealt with by means of case studies. This is the sort of thing that's taught in business schools. As business problems get more and more complicated, however, the ability to understand all of the factors that enter into a business issue and to do the analysis based on those factors produces a lot of complexity. And what we're beginning to find is that building formal models of these business problems and the decisions that have to be made is a good way to tease apart the individual characteristics of the problem and to begin to do an analysis that leads to a solution. It's a companion to other offerings in this series, and it is a complement to the business process modeling track. Business information semantics is parallel to business process modeling in the sense that where business process modeling talks about processes, business information semantics talks about the information that is used in those processes, particularly in decisions. Generally, I find two types of people who are interested in taking this course. One of those is someone who is currently an IT architect and who's looking to get more involved in helping solve business problems. The other are business analysts that have a good background in business but lack the understanding of modeling techniques and of model-driven analysis. It's sometimes hard to bridge the understanding gaps between these two communities, but in the past when I've given this course, I've found that it's an opportunity to get these two people to feed off each other as the course is taught, and by means of the kinds of questions that they ask from the different groups and the answers that they get. So let me talk now about the kind of things that you'll find in this particular course. First, we want to set the stage for what business architecture actually is and the different components of it. Secondly, we want to look at the role of information in business architecture, and in particular at the role of modeling business information. But in order to do that, we need to understand how business looks at information. On the IT side, if your background is in IT, when I say the word information, you probably think in terms of things like data and data schemas and data warehouses and other kinds of entities that are relevant primarily to the operation of the business. Business people tend to focus more on strategy and business decision making. Do I invest in a new business in a new geography area as an example of a kind of a business problem? Or another business problem that we frequently talk about is how do I make my enterprise more customer focused? So in order to do this, we'll talk a little bit about modeling. And for those of you who have an IT background, again, you're used to doing models of systems. Here we're going to be modeling business systems, but we're going to be modeling those business systems at a conceptual level. So instead of talking about actual people or machines or departments, we'll talk about these things as general concepts. So that should give you some idea about the content of the course, and I'll explain a little bit more by giving you an example that we'll actually go through in the course as one of the use cases. So in this particular example, the business has decided to become focused on customers. And in order to make this kind of a business transformation, first of all, we need to understand what the business is doing today with respect to its customer relationships. And then we need to understand where the deficiencies are, seen from a strategy point of view and what we're doing today. And from those deficiencies, we can begin to generate a series of scenarios about how we might change the business in order to become more customer-focused. And in this course, we'll use this as a primary example and walk through those examples using different modeling approaches, and so that as we bring in various topics, you get an understanding about how these topics fit together in trying to solve an overall problem. As I said earlier, the people that we find interested in this course are business architects and analysts, IT architects and analysts who want to learn more about business architecture. Occasionally I'll get a manager who wants to understand what business architecture is, and often find consultants who are interested in taking this course. A bit about the unique value of the course. As I said earlier, business architecture is the application of model-driven analysis to business problems. And one of the primary problems that exists in business strategy today is getting business strategy executed properly. And some work that was started in the Harvard Business School in the late 1990s has culminated in a series of publications. And this work by Kaplan and Norton has focused on being able to describe strategy. And this turns out to be important because once the business has decided to adopt a particular strategy, it needs to be able to describe that strategy and to elaborate the strategy for particular different components of the business. And so, for example, the elaboration of a customer-focused strategy might mean one thing to a marketing organization and another thing to the part of the organization that's responsible for product fulfillment. And so, you know, in teaching this course, we will teach an architectural approach. This will be news to business analysts who don't have an architectural background. We'll also teach about specific business problems, and this will be new to people with an IT background who don't have a lot of experience or understanding about how business people approach various kinds of problem solving. You can see some of what people that have taken the course last year when I gave it in New York have said about the content of the course. And finally, I'd like to talk about the fact that the BPMInstitute.org offers a lot of training material besides this particular course, and in addition to the business architecture curriculum. These courses all lead to certification levels, and you can find out about those certification levels by looking on the BPMInstitute.org website. And I hope I have answered at least your preliminary questions about what this course is about. If you have other questions, please feel free to contact BPMInstitute.org, and they'll relay your questions on to me, and I can probably give you a more detailed answer. Once again, let me thank you for the 10 minutes, and I hope to see you in my course.